Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Good evening. Welcome to the 68th Shafter Community Steering Committee. Welcome, yes. All right, I think everyone can hear me. So before we get started, we have the honor of having simultaneous translation today. So we want to make sure that everyone can hear correctly in the language that's preferred. So I'm going to pass it to my wonderful colleague Reina to walk us through some instructions.
Hola, muy buenas noches. Si ustedes prefieren escuchar el día de hoy en español, pónganse en su auditivo. Si están teniendo problemas con su auditivo, levanten la mano y así puede pasar un miembro del personal y podemos asegurar que todo esté funcionando bien. Estefanía, over here. ¿Todo bien? Perfecto. Si se desconecta, si se oye muy bajo, déjenos saber o levanten la manita y nosotros echamos vueltecita para asegurar. So we are going to be providing simultaneous interpretation. Right now, for the most part, we're going to be doing a lot of the speaking in English, so you won't need your device necessarily, but keep it on because you won't hear Spanish. You will only hear English on your device. So, but the great thing of keeping it on is that this way, as soon as somebody starts speaking Spanish, you will hear the real-time interpretation happening. And, so we have, if you could check your device, if you are an English-only speaker, you should be on channel 1. So if you're on channel 1, you are good. And for our Spanish speakers, they are on channel 2. And this is how we're going to do our main session and the closing. For main session and closing, we need to be on either channel 1 or channel 2, depending on your languages. But when we do breakouts, we will be on different channels based on whichever breakout we're at. And we will help coordinate to make sure everything runs smooth and that we can all hear each other. For breakouts, it'll be helpful so that we can keep our regular room voice and that we can all hear. And everybody can hear Cristina interpreting. If you are a Spanish speaker, can you hear Cristina? Awesome. So we have Cristina, Estefania, and myself, Reina, here to serve you tonight. And we are very happy to be here. If you do have anything that comes up or any confusion during the breakouts, please feel free to tug on one of us, and we're more than happy to assist. Absolutely. Give me a second. Spanish to English. Connect it. All right, we're good to go. Hola, hola. Si usted habla inglés, ahorita debería de estar escuchando la interpretación. ¿Me escuchan allá? Ryan, ¿qué estás comiendo? ¡Wow! Me encanta ver que se estén todos disfrutando su comida, que nos la estemos pasando bien. ¿Tú me escuchas allá atrás? ¿Sí? ¿Por la compu? Perfecto, me encanta. ¿Acá me escuchan? Muy bien. Así es como se va a escuchar. Cuando ustedes escuchen español, van a escuchar a su intérprete interpretando en tiempo real. Si escuchan cómo va mi voz, un poquito pausada, por favor recuerden todos los presentadores, ustedes saben quién son, hablar un poquito lento para que de esta manera la interpretación pueda suceder y que sus intérpretes puedan respirar. Así es que eso también es importante. Si ven que se desmayó una intérprete, quiere decir que van demasiado rápido. Gracias.
Gracias, Reina. Thanks, everyone. So I'm so glad that we're all on the right channel and we're all ready to engage and have a very deep conversation about three CERT measures that we all want to dive deeper on. Before we dive into the conversation, we want to have some opening remarks. We're going to first hear from the Air District, and then we will hear from our co-host for this evening. Jessica?
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I think for the first time in a while, it's not my birthday today, so... But I'm just so grateful for all of you, not only for being here, but continuing to be engaged 68 meetings later tonight we have some really great opportunities to really start to move towards the end of our SERP implementation with a lot of momentum towards projects we know will make an impact or continue to make an impact in your community. So I just appreciate all of the care that you've taken to get us to this point. All of the materials in front of you are a result of the questions that you have asked and the requests you have made. And so I just want to thank you, as always, for the engagement. But I especially today want to thank Michelle McManus, who has volunteered to be our co-host for tonight. So I'm going to pass it to Michelle. Thank you.
Hi, excuse me. I'm Michelle McManus. I live in the AB 617 boundary, and I work in the AB 617 boundary. I wanted to thank the district for putting all this together. It's a lot of hard work, and you guys have been after it. We appreciate that. I'm very excited to look at all the information of the stations. The district has collected a lot of data. The low net dust harvesters are very interesting. Even though I live in this area, I had no idea how many almond fields were really in the Shafter boundaries. I'm happy to see where the new harvesters are being used. I think it's been a big benefit for all of us and to our air quality. The road, paving, and sidewalk adds quality to our air. They also add a beautification to our community all year round. And it makes our city safer and more accessible, so that's a great deal too. I also wanted to thank the CSC community for striving to make our community better, for working together, for making this happen. We've had great strides in this program, and we want to spend every single penny in this district. And so it's all the community's effort with the district to make this happen. I'm very interested, if you guys didn't remember, moving funds to where the programs are going to be used and out of programs that we're not using. So I'm very interested, and it'll benefit all of our community, everybody that works here. But on a personal note, I'd like to thank you guys and my air purifier. This is the first fall that I haven't had to take my allergy medicine, and I really appreciate that. That's all to your guys' hard work. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. We always know that the meetings are going to go really well when we have a community co-host, because when we plan in unison with your perspective, it makes the meetings much more engaging, and it helps us make sure that we really are delivering what you all want to hear. So as Jessica mentioned earlier, tonight's conversation is a representation of all of the things that you all as committee members wanted to hear discussed, and the things that you actually want to make a decision on. So today we have an engaging meeting, and we're going to require a lot of critical thinking on your behalf, because we want to hear about the decisions that you want to make, and we want to hear about your perspective. So to help us get there, each of you should have a folder. So I'm going to ask you to please take out that folder and put it in front of you. Go ahead and open that folder if you haven't already. I'm going to do a little dance here with this amazing umbrella that I love. So if you have your folder, you can open it up, and one of you should have a lung sticker. Who has it? This is. It should be on the folder itself, and I see it right there. You see, have the lung sticker? There we go. So here's our first raffle. So you get to have this amazing.
Now we just need rain.
Who is it? Felipa. Felipa, here you go. Congratulations. Woo! Okay, now that I got your attention to the raffle, you see how I did that? So now everybody's paying attention. Now what's next? Okay, in your folder, if you are a community steering committee member, you should have the following. Each of you should have your name tag, so if you can please put your name tag on if you haven't already. In addition to that, you should have 2 index cards or 2 half sheets that look like this, that are blue. I'm going to just reach over, and yellow. So you should have that. You have an agenda for tonight. And in addition to that, you have 3 handouts. Each handout corresponds to one of the table discussions that we're going to have. If you are a CSC member, you also have 2 sticks. You have a blue stick and a yellow stick. So for my Community Steering Committee members, if you are missing any of these items, please raise your hand and someone from our team will come around and give you one of these items. If you are a member of the public or you are here tonight representing a government agency, you should have all things minus the sticks and the half sheets. Okay, just going to give you a moment to look through your folder to make sure that everyone has everything so that you are ready to participate in tonight's meeting. We're ready? Yes. No, you have a yellow folder. So you are new. Welcome. We always love to see new faces. Thank you for joining us tonight. So since tonight is your first night here, you have a SERP measure. So you have the agenda and you have the handouts. And as a new public member, the only difference is that she won't be a voting member. That will, when we engage in the conversation later, she won't need that. Thank you. Love to see. So if you have a yellow folder, you are part of the public, or you are new to tonight's meeting, or are an agency that's joining us tonight. All right, thank you so much. All right, so that means that we are ready to get started. So tonight is going to be a little bit complicated. We're going to get our steps in. You know, they tell us that we have to get our steps in. You know, 100 years ago, we used to walk a whole lot more than we walk today. So we're going to get our steps in. And so that means that we're all going to be moving from station to station. So if everyone can take a look around the room, what you will see is that directly in front of me and probably behind you, that is table number 1. And you see Jessica there waving. At table number 1, we're going to have a conversation about the low dust nut harvester. You'll hear all the content that you have there. If you are a CSC member, you're going to be asked about what you're thinking about. You're going to be clarifying all the questions that you have. You'll spend 20 minutes there. Then you'll rotate to the next table. So table 3 is heavy duty trucks. So I see Janine over there. I see Laura. I see the folks at that table, and you'll go there. You'll also get all your questions answered about heavy-duty trucks. Then you will rotate to table 2. So we're going to go clockwise here. At table 2, we have the road paving and sidewalk installation and bike lanes. You'll do the same thing. You'll get all your questions answered, and you'll make sure that if you have recommendations for the Air District, that you're sharing those recommendations. All right, so that's how we're going to get our steps in. But we're going to do this in an orderly fashion. We're first going to move to a table, and once we first move, we're going to make sure that we still have the seamless simultaneous translation. Because what's going to happen is once we move to a table, we will likely have to switch channels for some of us, because we're going to have 3 conversations happening at the same time. So we want to make sure that when you are at that table, so let's say you are at table number 2, for example, that you're actually listening to the conversation that's about road paving, sidewalk installation, and bike lanes. Because if you're on the wrong channel, you might be listening to a conversation that's happening somewhere else. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so we'll first make sure that that's happening. And then at each station, you have a team of folks that you see sitting there or standing at that station who are going to guide you through the conversation. Lastly, our team is going to remind you in 20 minutes that it's time to move. So you'll hear me come back on the mic, give you a signal to move to the next table, and we'll do that 3 times so that each of you can spend 20 minutes at each table. When we're done with that conversation at each table, we're all going to come back to your original location, to right here. At that time, we'll collectively have a conversation and officially take a vote on the things that we need to vote on today. Make sense? All right, let's get started. So I need to see by a show of hands so you can put everything back in your folder. So you're going to travel with your folder. So you need to make sure you have your folder ready. You have your pen available. You have everything stuffed inside of your folder. So I see some of you with your folders open. So I'm going to ask you to close the folder. Notice that I'm going into teacher mode here, right? All right, so if you have a purple folder, let's see, I need you to raise your purple folder. I see Dora has a purple folder. Who else has a? Maribel has a purple folder. Any other purple folders? No, okay, so if you have a purple folder, you're gonna start at table number 1, the low dust nut harvester. So those of you with the purple folder can walk over there right now. Now, by a show of folders, I need to see those of you who have a green folder. So I see Fermin has a green folder, Cesar, okay? So those of you that have a green folder, you're gonna be with Maddie at table number 2. Maddie, if you can raise your hand over there. You can walk over to table number 2. And then those of you that have a blue folder are going to go to table number 3. See Laura raising her hand. You can physically move over there. That is where you're going to start for the first table conversation. Blue is table number 3. And now I'm seeing all of the people that have a yellow folder. Those of you who have a yellow folder will go to table number 1. My yellow folders will go to table number 1. Yellow folders, you're going to go to table number 1. Table number 1. Okay, once you get to your table, now your facilitator and the Air District team at each of those tables is going to guide you through the conversation, and I'll be back on my mic in 20 minutes. Hi, Hi everyone, this is Amy. I hate to interrupt. If we can get everyone's attention, it is now time to rotate to the next table on your right-hand side. So table 3 is going to go to table 2. Table 2 goes to table 1, and table 1 goes to table 3. I'll give you 3 minutes to get there. Everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is Amy, your facilitator. We are now rotating for the last time. So station number 1 is going to station 3, and 3 is going to 1. I told you we're going to get your steps in, so we're walking. Great. Thank you, everyone. This is Amy Ramos again. We are now wrapping up our roundtable discussion. Thank you so much. If everyone can take a 5-minute break, there's the restrooms that are located towards the front of where you came in and picked up your folder. We also have some pastries, some Mexican sweetbread if you'd like to have some dessert. And we ask that in 5 minutes you come back to these tables so that we can actually have take an official vote. In addition, if I could have your attention, please, we also have a table here at the front from Department of Pesticide Regulation. If you guys have any questions for DPR, please come ask your questions. Ok, ahora es tiempo para regresar. Everyone should be on channel 1. Todos van a estar en el canal número 1. Canal 2. Por el canal 2 para español, perdón. And 1 for English. Testing for everyone. We're all hearing. Well, thank you so much. A round of applause to our Air District team and our facilitators at each station. And a round of applause for you for going to each of those stations, asking your questions, getting engaged, and keeping the conversation going. So before we move to a consensus and a vote, we're going to hear a brief summary of the theme that was discussed at each table. So we're going to start with table number 1, which was our low dust nut harvester. My colleague Vanessa is going to walk us through a couple high-level themes that were discussed, and then tell us how people felt about the conversation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Amy. So we had a very rich discussion here at the Low Dust Nut Harvester Station. I'd say that some of the main themes that came up were the need to prioritize local growers to ensure that low dust nut harvesters are closest to where people live in Shafter, as well as ensure that there's funding that's equally available across the Shafter boundary so that everyone who wants to participate in the program can benefit. The Air District shared that all of that outreach is done for the entire boundary related to that measure, and that they fund the measure on a first-come, first-served basis. In addition to that, some folks voiced concerns about what happens in case somebody accesses these new low dust nut harvesters and they don't use them. The Air District shared that the new harvesters must be in operation in the area for at least 10 years, and that the people operating these nut harvesters need to follow up on how they're using them within the boundary. And last but not least, after doing a temperature check, asking folks how they're feeling about funding this measure, everyone is in support of allocating more funds to the low dust nut harvesters measure.
Thank you, Vanessa. I know there were more details shared at each table. You had a lot of questions. You had a lot of support for that measure, and we'll go to an official vote momentarily. But next, we're going to hear from table 2. Sorry, I went the wrong way. And Maddie's going to give us an overview of what was discussed at table 2.
Thank you so much, Amy. So at table 2, we discussed the road pavings, sidewalk installation, and bike lanes. And as Amy mentioned, there were a lot of details shared, but some of the overarching themes that we saw was some support for looking into paving around the rec center and the skate park. And there was a proposal for $2 million allocated to paving that as well. We also heard from folks about some needed work on the 43. This is due to heavy traffic, slow-moving traffic. It's really dusty, and there's children in the area who are inhaling that dust. So we heard that as well, and the recommendation with that was to widen the road. Additionally, we heard recommendations from folks about adding sidewalks to the Cherokee Strip and Smith's Corner. And lastly, there was a call to action to move towards the sidewalks near East Tulare and paving on Ash to downtown. And that was some of the high-level notes from table number 2. Happy to pass it back to Amy.
Mic 2. Mic 2 works now. Thanks for walking over there, getting your steps in. I like it. All right, we're going to now hear from table 3. Laura?
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Thank you, Maddie and Vanessa, for sharing so far about table 1 and table 2. I had the pleasure of facilitating along with Janine and Genesis for heavy-duty trucks. And similar to what my colleagues shared, community members do want to shift funding from heavy-duty trucks to support road paving, sidewalk installation, and bike lanes, as well as low dust nut harvesters. Community members shared that 5 years of no progress is very telling of where the community is at, as in it's not something that they want to move forward with. And there are also community concerns that electric vehicle trucks are not safe, durable, or sustainable for community needs. And I think that was it, so I'll pass it back to Amy.
Thank you, Lara. Thanks, everyone, for engaging that conversation. So now we're ready to talk a little bit about any unanswered questions that you may have. And we're first going to start with talking about the proposal which was discussed at table 1, the low dust nut harvester table. Before we go there, though, to kind of get you energized and to get you excited, I have a little raffle that was pulled. And the Air District is raffling a smart air quality monitor. This thing looks pretty cool. So I guess you can put it in your room, put it wherever, and it's monitoring your air. And I was just slipped a name. Let me see if I can find it. Angie Nelson. Thanks, Angie. Enjoy. Maybe you can trade later for something else. No, I'm kidding. All right, well, now that I got your attention, right, raffle, and then all of a sudden everybody pays attention, let's start by talking about the low dust nut harvester proposal. So if you are a CSC member, Fermin, if you're a CSC member, you should have this blue card. So we're going to take this out to help us move to a decision. So as you heard, there was originally a proposal to reallocate $1 million from our heavy-duty truck CERP measure and move it into the low dust nut harvester. But what we heard today is that although there's already been $2.5 million spent, the new proposal on the table is to move not $1 million, but to move $2 million to this CERP measure. So remember, this is to replace conventional nut harvesting equipment with new low dust equipment. And we would like to hear from CSC members if there is any opposition, because when I went back and counted the sticks, what I heard or what I saw was that there was all a proposal in favor. Any opposition or any questions that you have at this time? You have a question? ¿Está de acuerdo? Okay, we are then going to officially move to a vote. So all CSC members in favor, if I could see you raise your blue card. All those in favor, all those yes, yes, yes. Woo, yay. All right, it's an official vote. Thank you. All right, so yes, ma'am. 2 million. 2 million was the proposal, right? It was the adaptation that you all requested. Okay, so now we're going to move. So my CSC members, you guys have now this yellow card. As you can see in this yellow card, so again, if you're a CSC member, you should have this in your folder. If you can take it out, Fermin. All right, making sure Fermin's paying attention. A ver, Fermin. No se me duerma, Fermin. Okay, so for table number 2, this is the road paving, sidewalk installation, and bike lanes. And so tonight, we were prepared to move $1 million, but as my colleague Maddie suggested, the proposal that the Community Steering Committee would like to make for tonight is to officially request to move $2 million, reallocate this to the road paving, sidewalk installation, and bike lanes measure. If you are a CSC member, all of those in favor of yes, please raise your yellow. Okay, I'm seeing. We are in favor. Yes, congratulations. We are moving. Yay. Congratulations. This is the first time that we've officially counted a vote in person. You guys were all engaged. You were all having a really good discussion, asking the questions that you wanted, and really advocating for your community. This is what community engagement looks like when you're making community-informed decisions. Any questions at this time? General questions? No? Okay, we'll have my last raffle. And this is a Black & Decker, is that a weed whip? Is that what this is? Oh my gosh, all right, here we go. Electric corded is Philip Jimenez here? Yes? All right. We're putting you to work, Philip. All right. Send us pictures. All right, there's so much excitement. Everyone's calling Michelle right now to talk about all this excitement that's happening. All right. Any other questions right now before we move on to the next agenda item? No questions? All right, so then in that case, we are ready to wrap it up. And so I'm going to pass it to my colleague Vanessa to wrap us up and move forward with next steps for planning for the next few community steering committee meetings.
Thank you, Amy, and thanks everyone once again for being here. It was great to see you all again, and it's so great to see that you all were able to come to a couple of decisions together, a couple of very important ones. I hope that you found this meeting meaningful and full of accomplishment and connection. I'd like to start wrapping up today's meeting by sharing a couple of important dates. So first off, the next CSC meeting that we will be hosting will be virtual, and that is going to take place on Tuesday, November 12th at 5 p.m. So that's at the usual time. And that is on a Tuesday this year because there's a holiday the Monday before. So please make sure to mark that on your calendars. We hope to see you all there. And as for the upcoming agenda setting meeting, so given that we focus today's meeting on SERP incentive measures, the Air District is recommending that the next agenda for the next CSC meeting be non-incentive SERP measures. So those commitments are related to compliance and to outreach. And so given today's meeting, what we've accomplished, and given that recommendation, we'd like to ask everyone how they're feeling. Do they feel like they want to keep this month's agenda setting meeting to talk about this meeting and potential future topics? Or do you want to skip this month's agenda setting meeting so that we can focus on non-incentive SERP commitments? How are folks feeling?
Would we get updates if the Air District for the road paving by that time, or would we get it just in the actual CSC meeting? Hi, everyone. So yeah, when we were going to pass to me, I was going to talk about next steps. So this is maybe a perfect time if I can take this moment. With the road paving projects, it's a little different than low dust harvesters because that's a partnership. We don't have a full picture of exactly which project. So some of the folks that I talked with, I did caveat with having that support from the CSC means a lot, but we need to go back then and do our homework with the city and the county to understand. Before our next agenda setting, which would be next week, I don't think we would have all those answers. So I don't know that that meeting would have any substantial updates on where we're at with that measure. I will also add that at the next meeting, we would like to share with you a draft annual report in addition to the things that Vanessa just mentioned. So we do sort of feel, maybe to Vanessa's point, that the agenda is sort of already set, but we are welcome to, or open to having a meeting. I think, yeah, Michelle was just asking if maybe unless there's strong opposition, we'll then cancel the agenda setting unless we hear otherwise right now.
Is anyone opposed to canceling this month's agenda setting? Looks like we're canceling this month's agenda setting meeting.
claps at? Just kidding.
We're making all kinds of decisions today. I love it. So now that that's taken care of, I'd like to move us to public comment today. So want to thank you all once again so much for taking the time to come here tonight to share your experiences and your input and your questions. As you all know, public comment is super important in this process to ensure that the program is formed with the community's perspective and needs in mind. And so at this time, I'd like to invite members of the public who are in attendance today to make any questions or comments. If you'd like to make a comment, please feel free to raise your hand. And Dr. Ramos will go over to you with the microphone.
You can still, yeah. So this is public comment, so you can make a comment as a CSC member on something that wasn't on the agenda, but you want to share right now. This is your time, and it's the time for the public to introduce any other comments that you might have. So Linda?
I just wanted to thank everyone that showed up tonight. The bike lanes and sidewalks have been something that I have really wanted for our community, and I just can't thank everyone enough for coming together. I was hoping that we'd maybe even get $600,000 to finish that project up, and the fact that we got $2 million, I am so happy. I'm so happy to have people here that care about our kids and our community, and I just wanted to thank everyone truly from the bottom of my heart. You guys are amazing, and I just can't wait to see all this come in for Shafter. I think our residents are going to be ecstatic.
Hi, I am aware of a permit renewal for the GAF facility that's near the 99, and I was wondering maybe if we could get like a quick 5-minute update in the November meeting about whether that means more pollution or more smells or what that permit change could mean for folks in Shafter.
Me encanta hablar cuando puede hablar. Mi pregunta es la necesidad que se va a hacer de transportación de aquí a Bakersfield por la 43. No sé qué sea el plan del proyecto nuevo de la ciudad, pero sí me gustaría que enfatizaran en toda la comunidad de Shafter que tiene que viajar en la mañana para trabajar, los que trabajan en Bakersfield, y regresar a casa, porque se lleva casi 40 minutos o más sin que sea la hora cero, la hora de tráfico. Y el freeway también, gracias a Dios, han abierto muchas rutas, se ha expandido el freeway. Pero sí me gustaría que la 43 fuera abierta a doble carril por la comunidad y la rapidez de todos nosotros. Yo me imagino, si a mí me da un ataque al corazón y el freeway está cerrado y la 43 me tienen que llevar por ahí, no me voy a llegar muerta, no voy a llegar con vida. Pues sí, el cementerio, yo tengo mi cajón ahí. Pero sí, por favor, pongan eso en la agenda de la carretera 43. Me encantan las vías de bicicleta para los niños, van a tener en que divertirse, va a ser un día familiar, eso está muy bien. Pero también hay que pensar en la gente que trabaja, en la gente que va a la universidad, en la gente que tiene que ir a sus negocios, a las tiendas o a hacer sus pagos. Gracias.
¿Es la 43 o Santa Fe?
Pues es la misma, se convierte. La 43 que se convierte en Santa Fe.
Gracias. So as a reminder, during public comment, we take all the information that you share and we'll have follow-up and action items at the next meeting. Jesus, and then Maribel.
I was just wondering if anybody else experienced that type of commute to Bakersfield on the Santa Fe, and at what hours are these?
It's terrible after
sorry, can you repeat that? 'Cause the translation.
So if you're traveling in the afternoon, so like 3:30 to 4, it's backed up from Los Angeles in that 5-way all the way up to almost the U Center. It's also backed up at Kratzmeyer, all the way back up, and that's just going south after work. When you come in the morning, there's a huge line at that stop. I think we're supposed to get some type of roundabout, but if there's any way, if we're gonna do extra lanes, which I totally agree, if we could have some type of center divide, because I travel that road a lot and people just are driving crazy and they're on their phones. And actually a friend of mine was hit very badly, and his wife was very badly injured from a head-on collision on that road. And it happens, and I was just speaking earlier about some of the dust that we had on that road. So if we could widen that road, I completely agree with Annabelle. It has gotten a very heavy commuted area. Both directions.
Thank you for sharing.
Pues no es lo que yo iba a decir, pero con referente a lo que ahí dijo Linda, ¿cómo se llama? En la Santa Fe y la 43, en mis 24 años aquí más o menos, ahí hay muchos accidentes, así sea en la mañana, así sea en la tarde. No sé por qué la ciudad no ha puesto atención en esos saltos donde tanta gente ha muerto. Y hay unos accidentes tan grandes ahí. No entiendo por qué no han puesto una luz, o es que simplemente no importa quiénes nos muramos. Pues el cementerio se mira bien cómodo, el de aquí, pero ese alto ahí es tan peligroso. No sé si, no creo en las maldiciones, pero si ustedes han puesto atención, y la ciudad debe de tener un récord de cada accidente que ahí pasa. Si a alguien que le interesa Shafter revisa cada accidente que haya habido, han quedado familias, pero que de jóvenes que no quedan imposibilitadas para volver a ser funcionales. Eso es lástima, porque no han puesto atención en eso. Y si dinero hace falta, tenemos $1.800.000 todavía que no se usó en locomotoras, que se les puede dar. Pero pongamos atención a la ciudad, porque tenemos dinero. Aprovechémoslo. Si están los de la ciudad aquí poniendo atención, aprovechen el dinero que está. Arreglemos esos lugares donde pasan tantos accidentes, porque ahora son otras personas, pero ¿quién sabe si mañana vamos a ser nosotros o nuestros familiares y vamos a estar llorando por no haber podido arreglar esto con tiempo? Así que hay otras 3 proposiciones que hay extra dinero. Usémoslo para la ciudad. Es cierto que arreglando ahí no van a haber emisiones, no se van a mermar, pero vamos a salvar vidas. O sea que pongan atención que hay dinero ahí. Acérquense al comité o a quien tengan que hacerlo, pero ahí hay dinero. Y gracias.
Gracias. Thank you so much. All right, we also have some other general announcements from the Air District. In addition to that, I want to make sure that before you leave that you do go visit the Department of Pesticide Regulation. Aniela's here and her team. So if you would have any questions that you would like answered from DPR, please make sure you also visit that.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I have a quick announcement from the Air District. I hope you all received our email this morning, but we're so excited to announce that on Saturday, November 2nd, we are doing a combined lawn and garden exchange event and a tune-in, tune-up event. It's going to be in the morning at the City of Shafter Public Works building. And we're super excited. This is really thanks to all the work that you all did. You might remember just a few months ago, this committee reallocated funding to lawn and garden, which allowed us to do this kind of event. So we're really excited. We are getting registered. For the lawn and garden portion, you do have to register, and so we have started to get registration. But if you all have friends, neighbors that want to participate in either our Tune In Tune Up program or our residential lawn and garden program, please reach out to us, and we can get them signed up. We're really looking forward to it, and really thanking you all for the support for both of those measures.
Have the the site to sign up for the residential lawn and garden thing? Yeah.
Yes, there's a site.
This is Stephanie. It is open. I can get you the website, but it's through Valley Can. But if you want the website, I'm happy to give it to you. And it was also, we can send you an email too if you didn't see it in your email.
I think we're ready for closing remarks. Michelle?
I'm really excited about what happened here tonight. That was pretty awesome, what we got done, and we should all be very proud of ourselves. You know, like I said earlier, I want to spend every little penny we can on our community. And over at table 3, they have 3 other categories that we haven't spent the money on, and they're kind of stalled out. So we should be looking at agricultural pump engines, the commercial under fire charbroilers and rail card movers and switchers, maybe taking some of that money and maybe we could parlay it into, now here we go, into some urban greening for our new rec center that we're going to be putting in, or maybe some of the parks that we have. And of course, you know, vegetative barriers. Maybe we can get some trees planted on Laredo Highway where we have those meetings and all that people come to Shafter and see how pretty we are. So we got a lot of ideas and we can make this happen. And you guys, we did a really good job here tonight. I'm impressed. I'm like, we should all pat ourselves on the back. Good job. And want to thank the community here for making this happen, and for the Air Board who has made this happen with us. And we appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Before we conclude today's meeting, I want to pass it to Jess for another set of closing remarks.
Thank you, Vanessa. Okay, one more time, a round of applause, because it's really fun, and you guys did so much today. I want to give a special shout out to Michelle, who says that I volunteered her to be co-host, but on the phone, without prompting, said, I mean, if you want me to be co-host, I will. And she's done such a fabulous job doing her homework, working with all of you, being so collaborative. So thank you so much, Michelle, for that. I also, a round of applause for Michelle. She did a great job. And then once again, I want to thank all of the residents who have been here, in some cases, almost every single one of the 68 meetings. We made so much progress again tonight, and I can't tell you how excited we are to continue to make progress and move forward. We will spend our next meeting talking about next steps with kind of the structure of the committee, how we continue to meet after the SERP's 5 years are over. So there's a lot in store moving forward, but let's just take tonight to celebrate what we did and be grateful for each other, and also take home extra food, because I think there's still a lot. So thank you and have a really great night. Thanks.
Great, thanks everyone. Have a great night.